Hello everyone, and welcome to my illusion. Please don't think you're being an intrusion, okay? Because really, on the contrary, it wouldn't be possible without all of us working in collusion. We, you, me, we all play our parts in creating this grand delusion, okay? And with that opening statement, it's sort of related to, actually very related to what I would, some thoughts that I have. And first of all, I'd like to discuss or talk about some events that have been going on since, I don't know, around October, still going on now. These are political or geopolitical events, or maybe some would consider them some type of social event, I don't know. But what that is right around the time of the Las Vegas shooting tragedy, a person started, or an entity going by the name of the letter Q. Now this Q entity, it hasn't been proven if it's one person, if it's a group of people, if it's a computer generated, artificially intelligent generated bot or whatever. I kind of doubt that. But anyway, so this, and I'll just say this entity Q. When I say Q, that's what I'm talking about, or who I'm talking about, or whatever. But this this Q started posting on the a Chan board called 4chan. 4chan, and 4chan is an anonymous message board, which means that a person can post on the message boards, and they're different. They have different subjects on different subboards or what have you, and you find whatever you're interested in, the topic or subject or whatever, and there you can post. It's sort of like a forum, but it's anonymous, and there's a couple of them, well, probably more than a couple, but the two main ones that I'm going to be talking about are 4chan and 8chan. And the environments on these message boards is basically like the Wild Wild West. It's no holds barred. Okay, if you get on there and you want to post something, and for whatever reason somebody doesn't particularly like it, or whatever, for really any reason, if you don't have thick skin, they are going to respond to your post if it's not something that, like I said, that is something that somebody likes or whatever, for whatever reason, you're going to get a response to that post. And without thick skin, you're probably going to be insulted, shamed, embarrassed. You're going to, get called names or whatever. And what I'm saying is that the environment on these message boards is in no way, in any way, politically correct, and that's why they tend to be pretty popular within certain groups of people, certain a certain demographic of people on the internet. So, and it's not really these insults and everything, or names or whatever that's somebody might be called or whatever somebody might say. It's really not supposed to be, it's not a personal attack. And it's the whole idea behind the message board. It's anonymous, and it's not politically correct by any means. And a lot of the people that hang out on these boards, that are interactive on these boards, a lot of people in our society or whatever, everything's got to be PC, politically correct. You can't, you just have to, society wants you, don't step on anybody's toes, don't make anybody feel bad, don't make, this, that, and the other, on and on. And so these message boards are just like, all that's out the window. And if you are going to participate on these boards, then that's something that you're going to have to realize. And one of the things is, they say to lurk, just sit there. Don't post anything, but just read or whatever for like 2 years. And that, that's just to get the point across that, look, unless you know what's going on here, unless you understand the environment and the attitude, that you see on these boards, from the responses, the post or whatever, don't expect if it sounds stupid or what, for whatever reason, if somebody just wants to pick on somebody, well, if you don't have thick skin, you are going to be insulted or embarrassed, or you're going to get pissed off, or what have you. But none of this stuff is really, they're not personal attacks, okay? And hence the non-political correctness, because the people that participate in these boards just, they don't believe in political correctness, which I have to agree. I think they're in a lot of cases in real life, out here, or not in this delusion or illusion, but when you're dealing your work job, or whatever you're doing in real life, okay, in the 3D, there's a lot of political correctness that I think in a lot of ways may cause more problems than solve or prevent problems, okay? So anyway, this Q person started posting on the 4chan in October, that's persisted. They have persisted up until the present. And the way they were posting, or what they were posting, were questions, okay? And some of these people on the Anons on the Chan board, and Anons are people that use these anonymous message boards. It's just, there's no names or whatever. You just call everybody's an Anon, an anonymous person, okay? So these Anons started noticing it, and they started looking into it, and these questions that this Q entity was posting, the answers to these questions tended to be, if they were researched, tended to be about political events that have happened in the recent past or that are happening now. There were a lot of these answers led to connections between people and entities that were related to a lot of this geopolitical and political environment that we see going on, and basically what I'm referring to is the 2017 the last presidential election. and Hillary losing, Trump winning, that kind of thing. So and it continued. Okay, Q continued to post these things, and it started garnering more and more attention. Okay, and people, more and more anons, started doing the research and all. I mean, it's a pretty big, if you want to call it a movement or let's say a phenomenon. Okay, now it seemed to be up until middle of November, maybe the end of December, and this Q entity, the style of what they were posting, the questions, the information that they were posting seemed to change. Like, it was a different person or a different group of people or something, but it kind of shifted a little bit. And then the anons on the Chan board, some of them, they're almost like a fanatical cult trying to figure this stuff out, and they are very passionate about what they're doing, or I'd say most of them are. And but it's practically like a cult following of this. Now, and over time, since there was a slight style change or whatever, that a lot of people, were saying, oh, this is fake, this is a LARP, a live action role playing thing, whatever. And and that drew the ear of the people the cult followers that really believed in it. I'm not saying everybody that believes in it or is following it or whatever is cult, in a cult or whatever. But I mean, some of these people are really adamant about this information or these questions or whatever it might be that Q is posting, and people get attacked, verbally at least, if they question what's been posted and why this, why that, whatever. So what it is about is that we know that there's people, and I hate to get into this duality of right and left and Democrat, Republican, all these labels or whatever. But what it is there's, we've had a lot of the Antifa, some of these other groups, they've been, marching and causing some problems. Not so much now, but still you have what's considered the left people, and they can't accept or won't accept that, Trump is president, he won the election, and they're thinking that he's this dictator or what have you. But anyway, so you have two groups, that are opposed to each other. And this Q, this information, these questions, and the research that is involved with finding the answers to these questions has been revealing these personal connections between people that are involved in really these nefarious actions that have been taken or these these events that have happened. And it's showing that there is definitely some type of conspiracy going on, and these aren't theories. That's what these questions and this information that Q is posting is revealing, is that these aren't theories. These are actual, between the connections of all these different people, all these different companies and what have you, in these situations and these events. It is showing that there is definitely a conspiracy, not a theory, but a conspiracy where several people have come together and they are conspiring against the American people, the country, the president, what have you. And it's pretty serious, actually. But So the reason why now that a lot of people are kind of questioning it is because, for example, since from October until the end of November, there were 13,605 sealed indictments that have been processed or, generated or created or what have you. Normally, the last statistics that we have available was from 2009, and before then, the average was about anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 sealed indictments. Okay, so when you have a jump, and this is nationwide, and when you have a jump from an average of 1 to 2,000 per year to over 13,000 sealed indictments within a 3-month period, something's going on, okay? And a lot of people will argue and say, oh, well, there's no arrest being made, there's nothing going on, this is all a hoax, a LARP, live action role playing, what have you. But this Q entity, from what has been posted and the questions they have asked, there are, and some of these people are very reputable and well known, are saying that this Q, whoever it is very close and very close relational proximity to President Trump and to the military intelligence apparatus, not the CIA, NSA, DI, not that, but with the military intelligence, and specifically the Marines and some Navy, possibly people. But anyway, so nothing's going on, and people are beginning to lose interest in it or whatever. But at the same time, there are more and more people just being introduced to this information and the Q entity and all of this and what's going on. And basically, a lot of people are calling it a PSYOP, which it is, because a PSYOP is used to coax or persuade or whatever to get people thinking a little differently than they might be thinking. And in this case, it's to get people to start asking themselves questions, and trying to generate some type of curiosity so that people will want to find out what these answers are or what this information that's come, what it means or what have you. Because, I think most people, I'll say on the right, or again, I hate using these labels of left, right, good, bad kind of stuff, but the more conservative people, the people that want to see and Trump campaigned on this, make America great again, okay? And then there are some people like people they call them never Trumpers or whatever. He could. It's almost like Trump could cure or somehow eradicate, eliminate, whatever, every known disease to man, and completely get rid of it so there would be no more disease or whatever. And some of these people would still be berating him, saying that he's this, he's that, accusing him of, whatever. And so it gets to the point, it's like, it's ridiculous, But anyway, so that's going on. And if you're curious about Q, believe me, the more and more people are starting to be made aware of this Q phenomenon. It's even starting to seep into mainstream. And see, that's why I think that and a lot of people I think feel the same way, that this Q entity started posting on the Chans because the Chans have been able to solve some problems. They've been able to get things done that normally otherwise would be impossible, or there just wouldn't be enough tenacity or what's the word I'm looking for, discipline or whatever, because these people that usually hang out in the message boards, the 4chan, 8chan, whatever, these people, they call them, another label that they have for them is autists. And we know that, if a person has autism or whatever, or a certain variant of autism, that a lot of them have what we would say would be not a common, or not the status quo social interaction. They're not as they just wouldn't be considered in the normal realm of what most social interaction is, what is considered as social interaction. So these autists, and that's what I mean, they drill down and they are tenacious, and they will not let go of something until they are satisfied that they have exhausted every possibility or whatever, trying to figure something out, answer a question or whatever. And as an example of what they've been able to accomplish, and this is just one example, and there's a video on YouTube about this, that somebody, they were asking, so what is 4chan or whatever, and that's just one of the message boards, anonymous message boards. But one of the things that 4chan was, users of 4chan were able to do, for an example, these doctors, they were working on some type of problem that they were having, trying to find an answer or a cure. I can't remember what exactly the medical term was, but the doctors had been working on it for over, about a decade or so. And so somebody had posted something about this information, and it garnered the attention of some people on, the Chan boards. And then, a lot more people started getting involved and trying, and like I said, these people, for the most part, they're tenacious. They, like a pit bull, they'll, grab onto something and they're not going to let go until they're satisfied that they've, answered the question, figured out whatever it was they were trying to figure out or whatever. So somebody, a doctor or whoever however they found this, this problem, and it was on 4chan, and the 4chaners, the Anons got together, and they came up with, they discovered or found the answer, cure, whatever it was, of this medical situation within, I think it was like 4 weeks. So here you have these professional doctors that, been to school for 8 years, these researchers, and many more years of experience within that medical field. And then you have these 4chans that, normally your average doctor or general practitioner or anybody, in that field, they're not going to be hanging out all the time on 4chan. Okay, I mean, it's just, I'm sure there are some, but generally, no. More of the 4chan people are computer, IT people, programmers, coders, along those lines. So within 4 weeks, they found the answer. They came up with the answers, boom. And so that is one of the reasons why it is believed that Q started posting on the Chan boards, is to generate the interest, because they knew that these people would really, the Anons would really jump in there and try to figure this stuff out. And hopefully, like I said, it's starting to seep into mainstream, and more people, everyday people, you go into work, you associate, you interact with people, and you bring up the Q subject, and it's to get raise people's awareness of the situation that we are in, and understand that what has been going on in the past, politically and nefariously, and there is a movement trying to make America great again. But as it is, as people do, some people just go against the grain just for the sake of going against the grain. And that goes back to what I'm saying, that, a person, if somebody or a group of people don't like a particular person for whatever it is, that person could come out and, like I said, eradicate all disease, all poverty, or whatever you want to call it. It would be like miraculous, or whatever they did. And there would still be some people, irregardless, would be totally against this person for whatever reason, so it's kind of ridiculous. But anyway, I want to cut this short. I don't want to run out of time, because I'd like to do another video after this one. So anyway, that's a short little piece about QAnon and just some general information. And so y'all take care. Thanks for watching. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do another video here right after this one. So there'll be a couple of them probably when I post this. All right. Thank you.